So these are my matchups I made for welterweight future matchups. It's October 4th, 2025. So these are the confirmed matchups for right now: JDM versus Islam, Edwards versus Pratas, etc. For the ranked, scene of welterweight. UFC 320 is on today in a couple of hours from now. Mike Perry versus Jeremy Stephens at BK's UFC as well. Excited for that. But anyways, back to welterweight. Welterweight division has been in a weird spot. Islam is coming from 155, fighting for the belt. Shavkat is nowhere to be seen. But yeah, these are gonna be my matchmakings to make for 170 to fix the whole division. So the first one I'm gonna be going over with is Burns versus Magny. Burns, he's been on like in a 4-5 losing streak. Magny is on a 2-5 winning streak in 2025. So they're both around the same age, so it makes perfect sense to make this matchup. How do I say this? Very winnable fight for each fighter. There's a grappling matchup, stylistic matchup. So it's going to be an interesting question to see, who's going to be able to win this fight in 2026 or maybe December if they do book this. But realistically, if they do, if the UFC does book like a fight like this, it's going to be like January. So it's going to be a really interesting match to see for 2026. If Burns loses, he probably retires. If Magny loses, he probably still keeps on fighting, And so it makes perfect sense to book this match, It makes perfect sense. I said perfect sense like 100 times, but anyways. Colby versus Neal. So Colby, he's been freeloading in the rankings for like a long time. He's been very inactive, and even when he loses, he only like goes down by like one spot. So like it's unfair how he does do is still ranked. But Neal Magny has been getting killers. He's been the complete opposite. He's been keep getting straight killers, and so it makes perfect sense to give him Colby. Colby, I don't see him KOing Neal or maybe submitting him, but aside from that, very winnable fight for Neal. It's a good gift for Neal for saying thank you for taking all these fights against these straight up killers. So it makes perfect sense. Colby doesn't deserve a big name, very winnable stylistic matchup for Colby. He should take a somewhat tough matchup for his level, which is Neal. And so this makes sense. They're both close in the rankings as well. That's a matchup I would make to fix welterweight. Next is Buckley versus Rodriguez. Rodriguez is on a 3-fight winning streak, and Buckley lost to Usman. So they're kind of, it would make sense for them to fight. Buckley, he should defend the spot for right now because, welterweight is a bit of a logjam when it comes to, the whole title fight contention, whatever. And so Rodriguez needs a dance partner, and so Buckley's there. Makes sense. I don't know who else you would get to Rodriguez. And so if Rodriguez can get past Buckley, that's a big win and showing that he's on a resurgence. He's 38, so realistically he's gonna lose to Buckley. But anyways, Buckley, this is another fight for him to take his time and build himself back into another winning streak. And Rodriguez is a good name because Rodriguez did beat Hill, and Hill beat Buckley, so it makes sense as well for that. So it makes perfect sense. So this is a good matchup I would like to make for welterweight, Buckley versus Rodriguez. Next up is Usman versus Morales. Now you'll be saying, why not Usman versus Brady or Morales versus whoever else, Shavkat? This makes perfect sense in the minds of Usman and Morales. Because Usman is looking at this as another Buckley. He's another powerful striker with like untested grappling. We never really see Morales his grappling get tested like against a really strong grappler. And Usman, would we be willing to take that chance against another big name up and comer at welterweight and get another win against a big name, which is Morales? And Morales can be saying this exactly like Buckley, saying, there's a ex-champ, huge name at the UFC, and if I get past them, that's gonna be launch me into not just stardom, but into a title fight. So it's a very good win for either fighter. They're both close in the rankings, so it makes perfect sense for them to fight for right now, just to have another win, and then after this fight, they can probably fight for a number 1 title contender or for the belt. So yeah, I would like to see Usman versus Belal, but we didn't see that, so we're getting Usman versus Morales in my matchmaking world. So last fight, there's only 2 fighters left, which if you couldn't tell, it was Brady versus Rachmanov. This makes perfect sense because Shavkat, he's another Arman where he technically is he was gonna fight for the belt. He pulled out. He is the number one. Well, he is technically like kind of deserving to fight for the belt as well. But because he's inactive, the chance is gone. He pulled out, is inactive. He needs to fight another fighter in order to get himself back another title, another chance to fight for the belt. And Brady's, he also has an argument to fight for the belt. He beat Leon Edwards and another ex-champ, and so it makes perfect sense just to keep them active. They don't really have to fight each other. They can, like, technically after JDM or Islam, whoever wins, Brady can just straight up fight for the belt after whatever happens during that fight. But just to keep Brady active, just to keep Shavkat active, this makes perfect sense for them to fight each other for the title, number one title contender, though, to solidify who definitely deserves to fight for the belt next. And it will make more. I mean, even like let's say whoever wins from JDM versus Islam, it'll be more exciting for them to fight a Brady or a Shavkat after they fight each other and saying like, oh, this guy 100% is the number one title contender for the belt next. So it makes perfect sense. It will make the welterweight more exciting. Whoever fights for the belt next. And so yeah, so these are my matchups to make for welterweight and how to fix it. UFC, hire me. Also, this is my Photoshop skills. So hire me for my Photoshop skills and hire me for my matchmaking. I'm joking, obviously. But anyways, hope you guys liked the video. If you think I made a bad matchup, or you think there's a matchup you would rather see, put it down in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.